Hello. I don't know if anyone's gonna join. I just decided to go live again. I told Victor that I needed to work out some feelings on the internet. It's gonna be a feeling stream. I don't want to hear any grief about it. We got Bot here. We got Milk Tea Graper. Milk Tea Graper, you're like Milk Tea Graper, you're really showing up, bro. Like I gotta give you credit. Like you're showing up. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Cindy's here. Do you guys mind if I work out some feelings? I feel like every 6 months or so, I go through this period where I'm like, fuck all of this, I quit. And half of me is like, half of me in my head, I'm like, you're not really gonna quit. You can't fucking quit. And that's the truth. I can't. I'm like addicted to this. It is an obsession, and it's an unhealthy obsession, and I understand that, but it is an obsession, and I feel like the only way that like you can actually do what I do is to become obsessed with it, you know? But then a good 50% of me is serious. I'm like, fuck all this shit. Like I'm just done. I'm just done. Like it's so hard, and I don't. It's just so hard. It's what's hard about it. People think that like, you know, how could streaming on the internet be hard, right? How could talking about leftist ideology all the time on my Substack be hard? How could any of this be hard? It's hard because first of all, I think that going as deep into the content as I have gone, and keep in mind that I've been doing these deep dives into woke training for like 3 years. I mean, we started the hardcore socialism stuff about a year and a half ago, but I've been doing deep dives into like woke training in organizations, in colleges, all that stuff for 3 years. Almost every day of my life. I'm not exaggerating when I say I've watched thousands of hours of this stuff. I'm fairly certain that no one in the world has watched more of this stuff than I have. At bare minimum, I'm in like the top 3. And I'm going to tell you what, man. It fucks with you after a while. It like it gets in your head. It's like someone reminded me today of that line in Ender's Game. Actually, someone pasted the quote onto my Twitter. Let me see if I can find this real quick, because it's just like the perfect quote to describe the situation I find myself in. Not there. Let me see. Where was it? Hang on. Ender's Game quote. This is important. Ender's Game is one of my favorite books. Here it is. I found it. And it was funny because when this person put this quote on Twitter today, I didn't really think it had to do with the topic that I was tweeting about, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good quote. But is Ender's Game a hard book? No, it's a science fiction book, but we read it in book club a while ago. But this quote describes how I feel about what I do. In the moment when I truly understand my enemy, understand him well enough to defeat him, then in that very moment, I also love him. I think it's impossible to really understand somebody, what they want, what they believe, and not love them the way they love themselves. And then in that very moment when I love them, I destroy them. That quote is pretty apt for what it's like when you watch hardcore, like, first of all, like leftist training, woke training, and then hardcore socialist training almost every day of your life for 3 years. And it's even worse than that for me because I don't think we're ever gonna beat them. You know, in Ender's Game, I don't mean to give away the plot to anyone, but it's been a movie for a while. It was a book for a long time. If you haven't read it, I promise you I'm not spoiling anything by telling you this. But in Ender's Game, they win. They defeat the enemy. They win. Okay, they win. I don't think we're ever gonna win. And this is probably the hardest part of this whole thing for me because not only do I not think we're ever not like the reason that I believe that we are never, ever, 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 ever going to beat the left and that we are on the decline into the socialist utopia, and some of us, depending on how old we are, may see it in our lifetime. The reason I don't think we're going to win is not that we couldn't win, is that people don't care. People just don't care. You know, earlier today, I told my, I talked on my stream about how that, like, I need, in order to keep on track to continue to do my Substack, which is carlin.substack.com, in order to keep on track and in order to be able to rationalize from a business perspective continuing to put the amount of time into this stuff as I have been putting into it, I need to get like 200 more paid subscribers by the end of the year. This is just a financial reality. Like, I made a big bet this year on Substack. I made a big bet that if I showed up and I covered this space better than anyone else and I showed you guys things that no one else was showing you, then people would return the favor and people would subscribe and people would fund what I was doing, because I'm not going to sell out to one of these big organizations that is just a politically biased organization shilling a political narrative. I was used by Republicans and by conservatives all throughout 2020. I will never allow myself to be used by the right again, and therefore I can't work with any of the major political organizations or like like people who have like all the money on the right, because the minute that I take money from those organizations is the minute they fucking own me, and I can't have that. I'm really bitter about the fact that I was used in 2020. I'm really, really, really bitter about it. And so it was always very important to me that if I was going to make this work, it was going to be grassroots funded. And I made a bet that people would show up if I kept the price point down. And I just focused on producing good content. And I really do think I produce better content than anyone else in this space. I really do. I made a bet that people would show up, and I'm not gonna dismiss that a lot of people have, okay? Like, it is real. Like, I really don't want anyone supporting my work to think that I don't see you and to think that I don't appreciate you, because, like, a lot of people support what I'm doing. A lot do. Like, I am blessed in many respects. I am able to do this because I have more, like, supporters than the vast majority of people doing what I do on the internet. That's the truth. And I want people to know that I do appreciate them, I do, but in order to keep the price point down for everyone, like, it's not like one person gives me $8 a month or $80 a year, right? And so, like, which I think is affordable given everything in the world, and I'm talking right now just about my main Substack, which is my focus. It's my primary focus. I have other revenue streams. I don't want people to think this is about me going into the poorhouse. I'm not going into the poorhouse, but I also think there just need to be I need to think about business realities, and the amount of time that I'm putting into this versus the amount of time that I'm doing, like, my merch store, it is so much easier to sell. It is so much easier to sell $80 worth of merchandise out of my merch store than it is to get someone to sign up for an annual subscription on my Substack. And I understand there's, like, reciprocity there because you get something when you buy something from my merch store, so you can kinda rationalize that a little bit, but goddamn, does it fucking burn me to no end that I really feel like I'm producing better content and more educational content in this area than anyone in the space. And it is like pulling teeth to get people to fund it. And that's when I start having the conversation with myself like, does anyone even care? Really? Really? Because, like, I could do clickbait content and don't think I mean, I went through a phase on this with the channel where I was like, I was basically this happened probably like what, 6 months ago, where I was like, fuck you guys. I'm literally just doing clickbait content. Like, because my YouTube like, I had broken the algorithm. Like, every once in a while, I have to break the YouTube algorithm. Otherwise, I just get shadow banned and buried, and no one gets notified of anything, and, like, my views go down, and it's not like I'm making, like, a lot in ad money. Most of, like, what I make on the channel comes through super chats. Uh, and I'm lucky that I have, like, a generous community. Again, I'm so lucky that I have supporters because I have a lot more than most people do. But, like, there was a whole phase in this where, yeah, bot remembers, it was like I was just putting Tim Pool's name in every title just to, like, feed the algorithm, and I was like, "Fuck you all, I'm just doing clickbait content," and, like, I can't like, and then I was like, I wasn't satisfied with that, and so, of course, I gave in and went back and yeah, I used to get massive viewers when I was doing a Tim Pool reaction stream, and this is the shit that burns me. It's like, I can show you the craziest, 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 craziest things you've ever seen on the left that no one else is showing you that Tim Pool doesn't even fucking know exist in any way, shape, or form. But do you know what gets me the most viewers? If I do a Tim Pool reaction stream. And it's like with that, I'm like, should that be what I do? Am I just an entertainer? Is that all that can be made of this? And why don't people care? I don't mind taking the bullet and being the one to literally drive myself insane watching woke training and socialist training and teaching people the same things over and over again and showing people what's going on and breaking it down. And then after that, like spending my time making clips and writing articles and doing this and doing that and doing the other thing to the detriment of me being able to have a life doing anything, by the way, because like I don't have anyone that helps me do this stuff. I have to do it all myself. And I'm not complaining because I don't mind doing that. I just wish people fucking cared. And I know there are people who do, but it's like I look around and not enough. Not enough. Well, bot asked, why don't I just do one reaction stream a week? And I'm like, I could do that, but will those people ever come to my normal streams? Will those people ever actually care about if those people are just religiously watching Tim Pool and they're only watching me because I'm watching Tim Pool, or maybe they're hate watchers of Tim Pool and so they're watching me because they know I'm going to shit on Tim Pool and talk about all the things he doesn't know. Will they ever actually come to Socialism Saturday? Will they ever actually come to Happy Hour? Will they ever watch the clips where I'm literally showing you the left talking about what they're doing? Like it's not even up for question what they're doing. Most people like I cannot tell you guys, it's like I did this thing yesterday on Twitter where I did this thing yesterday on Twitter where I gave people a pop quiz like I usually do in the chat. I gave people like a pop quiz on Twitter about like why does the left want to abolish the family? And so I said, "Okay, I know a lot of you know that the left wants to abolish the family, but do you know why? Do you know why they want to abolish the family? Put your answers below." And of course, I was thrilled to see that many people did know the answer, and those people who knew the answer and said they want to abolish the nuclear family because the nuclear family upholds capitalism for reason X, Y, B, and Z. And one person got it so good. He said, because of social reproduction theory, they believe the nuclear family reproduces capitalism. And I was like, fuck yes. People are listening because that all came from me. I am quite literally the only person teaching that on the internet. James Lindsay is not teaching that. It's not that he doesn't know it. Of course he knows it. I am literally the only person on the internet teaching about abolish the family. I have personally created in the last year more abolish the family content than most abolish the family activists have created. I'm pretty sure if I matched up with Sophie Lewis and Sophie and I put our content side by side, I actually may have created more abolish the family content than fucking Sophie has in the last year. Why is that important? It's important because every attack on parental rights right now is coming from abolish the family. Every single thing with gender ideology in school and transing kids is coming from abolish the family. The root cause of all of this, and they don't even hide it, is abolish the family. If you read articles that these people have written, they literally talk about how the nuclear family is a bad thing. They try to position it as something that's negative. All of this is coming from abolish the family. I think it's one of the most important things to talk about because a lot of people know it's happening. And I think that if more people really understood this specific goal, this is the key to undercutting these people and getting people to wake the fuck up. You want to abolish the nuclear family? Have you lost your fucking minds? They already know about the gender stuff. Everyone knows about the gender stuff. Everyone knows about the race stuff. None of that was enough to wake people up, but this abolish the family bullshit, when you really lay it out to people, here is what they're saying, and here is why they're saying it, and here is why they're doing it. That gets to people, and that wakes people up in a way that other things don't. So back to what I did on Twitter. I put this tweet out that basically said a lot of you know they want to abolish the family, but do you know why? Do you know why they want to do this? And I had a bunch of people that got correct answers because they watched my content and they learned. I had a lot of people that had incorrect answers. But there was one person in particular. And I know I shouldn't read into and I don't. I don't take tweets from randos on Twitter personally, but this just fucking epitomized the constant conversation I've had with myself so many times in the last year. So I don't want people to think it was this specific person or this specific tweet. It was just I saw it and I was like, this just wraps up my whole life in one fucking bow. This one person answered the question incorrectly. And I said, no, that's not right. I was responding to everyone who got the wrong answer. No, 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 close, but no. I was just telling them, this was not correct. I wasn't giving away the real answer yet because I wanted more people to answer, but I was telling them when they were wrong. And then the person got pissed off that I told him he was wrong, and he started arguing with me. And he said, what makes you an authority? How can you possibly think you're an authority in this? Why should I listen to you? So he got pissed off because I told him he had the wrong answer. And it was you know what? I have watched more of this stuff than anyone else in the world. Than anyone else in the world. I have watched more of these people's trainings and these people's classes and these people's workshops and these people's meetings than anyone else in the world. And every single day, I have covered more Abolish the Family content than anyone else in the world in the last year. And if you think someone else has done more, please tell me who they are. I really mean that. Chat in, leave a comment. Who has done more than me in these areas? Specifically what I'm doing. I'm not talking about James Lindsay reading every academic paper that's ever been written, because I will give him the trophy on that. James Lindsay has read way more of their philosophy than I will ever read in my life. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sitting through hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of their trainings, their real world trainings, almost every single day for 3 years. Covering more Abolish the Family content than anyone else that I know. Like, no one else is talking about this. And every single day of my life, I am met with people, some of whom have followed me for a really long time, who say, "What makes you the authority? You don't know any better than me. My opinion that I formed by watching libs of TikTok is better than yours." And I'm like, "Go fuck yourself." Honestly and truly and sincerely, go fuck yourself. You don't deserve to have me doing this shit to help you. And that's when I start to go, you know what? Like, what exactly do I need to do? What exactly do I need to do? Because I don't think my work is ever really going to be valued. It is valued by my supporters. It is valued by it is and again, like, I struggle to do this because I don't want to make it seem like I don't appreciate the people who are supporting me and the people who do like my work and the people that have followed along, because some of you have followed along this entire 3 years. Some of you have been around from the very beginning of this, and I seriously couldn't do it without you. And I so, like, I'm really appreciative, but it's just like, I know that because I will not play the political game, I know that because I will never shill their talking points, I will never take big money from these people. I will never fucking do it. I will never fucking sell out. I know that my work will never have the impact that it could, because not enough people value it. And I will always be shit on, and I will always be overlooked. And I know that, and it's because I refuse to follow the fucking script. And I really hoped, I really, really, really hoped that if I just kept my head down and I just kept doing it, that I could overcome it by getting enough normal people to see the value in what I was doing. And it's just so fucking hard. It's so hard. And I had to take, like, a long look in the mirror over the weekend and truly, like, I truly had to say to myself, if you just keep your mouth shut and you create an epic merch store, you will be able to sell people t-shirts and hoodies and mugs, and you're going to have this epic Christmas line, and you're going to be able to make so much fucking money out of this merch store. And literally, Carlin, all you need to do is stop spending so much time on the clipping and the Substack and the articles and the endless hours of endless streaming on YouTube. Literally, all you need to do is take that time that you're spending doing all this stuff, breaking down the woke ideology, explaining it to people, making clips of streams and clips of clips and shorts and da 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 da. All you need to do in order to create this epic fucking merchandising brand thing, because I know my merch sells. I know that. I know that when I'm putting new merch in the store and rotating my merch and doing limited editions and marketing the shit out of it, I know my merch sells because it's fucking rad. Like, I've got some great merch, and I've got some things coming that are really great, and I'm really excited about them, and it makes me feel good to do that, but then I think about the fact that if I just took all the energy that I'm putting in from my Substack and put it into my merch store, it is so much easier to sell people a fucking t-shirt or a hoodie or a mug or any of those things than it is to get them to fund the actual important stuff that I am the only fucking person in the world doing. And that's where I get really depressed, and that's where I get really black-pilled. Because I'm like, all people want is fucking t-shirts. All they want is mugs. Oh, they love mugs. Mugs are like the number one seller because the mugs are something they don't have to wear outside. They can use it in their home. They don't have to tell anyone their beliefs. They don't have to admit they're secretly unwoke. People fucking loves mugs, man. I'll tell you what. I got some cool mugs in my merch store, and I can make a lot of cool mugs in my merch store. And then I get people like this who come in and say, "This is all just an ego trip for you. This is just your ego." Me, 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 me. I had someone earlier saying I was guilt tripping them. You can go into timeout, bro. Go fuck yourself. Here, I have a super chat from Kino. Kino, thank you. That's a big super chat. I do appreciate, and I appreciate the hell out of you, Kino. Like, honest to God, I just appreciate you so much. You're just like, you're one of the good ones, bro. You're one of the real ones. Kino fucking shows up. I'll tell you what. I need anything, fucking anything. I know I can call Kino, and he will do what he can. And I like Kino doesn't even just show up with the financial stuff, although he's always been fucking awesome at that. And like, I just appreciate it so much. Like, let me tell you about Kino. Kino came to Porkfest last year, and when I was talking about the fact that I was gonna get like a speaker, like a little Bluetooth speaker for the campsite so we could have music, Kino fucking overnighted me a $300 speaker that's like fucking huge and it's so fucking great and I love it so much. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, I was like, "Man, I hope you don't mind me telling that story, bro," but I was just like, "Yo," and it's not even just with the, with that sort of stuff, it's also with, like, Kino helped me infiltrate the autistic sex ed thing, like, Kino has always been there, he actually does stuff, he cares deeply about this, and I'm like, "Why can't I have a million fucking people like you? Why aren't there a million people like you? Why aren't there people who care like him?" Because this is not just about the money. He cares. He understands it. He shows up. He does what he can. It's like, like, what is it that's different about you that I can't harness and get from other people? You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, I don't know how you handle socialism Saturdays on a weekly basis. I'm mentally to a point where I can't go on with it. Months ago, you're a saint for lasting as long. Call me a simp if you want, but this shit is beyond dystopian. It's fucking evil. It is fucking evil. And by the way, we're not just doing socialism Saturday on Saturdays anymore. Now we're starting to do like midweek socialism too. And this is on when I'm really going to drive away all my audience because I'm like, I'm like, man, I just want to watch this stuff all the time because again, I'm the only one doing this. I am the only one doing this. And there's always been this part of me that's like, if you just sit there and you watch enough shit and you gather enough clips and you keep showing people just like no one else is doing it. They're telling us what they're doing. They're literally laying out their game plan right in front of us, but they're creating way more content than we can possibly handle. And if no one else is going to do it, I'm like, fine, fucking I'll fucking do it. And I just can't get people to care about it. I can't get people to care about it. I remember I had an email exchange with Glenn Beck's team after the first socialism conference I infiltrated, not the 3-day one, the Socialist Reproductive Justice Conference back in April. When I infiltrated that, I had all this shit, right? I had all this information, I had all this stuff, like, I did a whole series of coverage on it on my Substack, and I sent some of it to Glenn Beck's team, and these are people that should know what's up, right? Should know what's up, and they literally said to me, "Carlin, we just like, can you convince us that people would actually care about this and that this is relevant to people? Can you convince people that this is relevant to people? Really?" And I emailed them back. I was like, "I literally have a 4-page book list of every single book that is written for queer and non-binary elementary school students, and I'm pretty sure that your audience would like to know, because you guys are all into the book banning stuff, right? I'm pretty sure your audience might like a comprehensive book list of every trans and non-binary book written for fucking elementary school students." I said it nicer than that, but that was, like, basically what I said. In that conference, I found a clinic in Western Massachusetts that is providing psychotherapy to trans and non-binary 3-year-olds, fucking 3-year-olds. They're doing psychotherapy on 3-year-olds. I went on a self-managed bathroom abortion tour, complete with abortion shrine, got pictures of all of it. And Glenn Beck's team said to me, first they told me they were going to cover it in their newsletter, and then they never did that. And then they said to me, "Well, can you just convince us that this is relevant to our audience and that our audience would be interested in this?" And I was like, "Go fuck yourselves." It was so blackpilling when that happened. Like, seriously. If there is any team of people in the country that should understand the importance of that stuff, like, for me, I'm like, why do like, this is my perspective. I'm like, why do I even need to fucking explain this to you people? Why do I even need to explain this to you people? And if there's any team in the universe that should have understood it, it was Glenn Beck's team. If you guys only knew the amount of stories that conservative media just ignores. I don't know if it's different now. I don't wanna reach out to them anymore. I used to waste hours of my time reaching out to conservative media to try to get them to cover anything of value, to show people, because I don't have the platform to be able to show people what's going on. I don't. I have a lot of people, but I don't. I mean, I mean, compared to them, they could be warning so many people. Their audience could be so much better informed, and they refuse. They refuse. They downright fucking refuse. So, at some point, I just gave up. And I stopped pitching conservative media because it was like, you guys never cover this. Literally never cover this. Like, it takes hours of my time to reach out to you guys. I'm so fucking sick of it. I am so sick of begging you to do your one and only job and inform your audience, and you refuse. And the shit that I see you covering, when you could be covering things that are important, I will never forget this story. I truly, truly will never fucking forget. What was it? It was like, it was right after that first socialism conference that I went undercover for. It's the same thing. Fox News. No, no, no. This wasn't about that. Autistic sex education. This was about autistic sex education. This has burned me ever since it happened. I will never forgive this. Autistic sex education is one of the most important stories I've ever covered. It's literally about how sex educators are indoctrinating autistic students. They're proactively targeting autistic students. There's a whole playlist. It's right at the top of my channel. And the reason it's right at the top of my channel is because I could never get anyone to cover it. Fox News was interested, though. I was supposed to go on Fox and Friends to talk about this. Fox and Friends booked me to talk about this when it happened. I was like, holy shit, they're actually doing something for a fucking change. And then they canceled on me. And they never rescheduled it. But do you know what story I did see them cover? Women in low-cut top is ogled at the gym. I will never, ever forgive Fox News for this. Fox News could have informed millions of parents with autistic children that their children are specifically being targeted with gender ideology in schools, oftentimes without them knowing, in a presentation that was a keynote at the National Sex Ed Conference, and Fox News didn't think that was important enough to cover. And by the way, I didn't even care really if they mentioned me. I actually just wanted them to cover the story, but like, it is always nice to get credit for your work when you're the only fucking person doing this on the internet. But I honestly didn't care. I was like, "Can we please tell millions of people that, like, their children are being specifically targeted? Thank you. That would be fucking great. That'd be really awesome." And Fox News not only decided not to do it, but decided that a more important story for them to put resources into covering was woman wears low-cut top to the gym, gets ogled by men. That wasn't the exact language of the story, but that was literally the fucking story. It was literally that a woman wore a low-cut top at the gym and then was pissed off that a man was looking at her boobs. I was like, "Are you fucking shitting me?" And it just never ends. It just never ends. Zero, well, no, I shouldn't say zero. Newsmax kind of covered it. OAN covered it. I shouldn't say zero. There was coverage on the Emily Drabinski thing from the socialism conference, which I appreciated. I did have some interviews on that. So I can't say my stuff is like never covered, but man, it's like the shit I have to put myself through to get people to pay attention for 30 seconds, and then they forget the fucking minute it happens. Oh no, he doesn't cover any of it. No. No. No, he doesn't have any idea it's happening. Tim accidentally covered one of my stories a couple months ago because he didn't know it came from me when he started covering it, and then it he ran into my name like in the article, which I thought was funny. No, they never cover it. I gotta give Cassandra credit though. Cassandra McDonald loves my shit. She does. She retweets it like when I send it to her. She's always been complimentary of it. So I appreciate that. It's like there are like again, like I really I struggle with stuff like this because it's like part of me is like I want people to understand how hard this is. I want people to understand how ridiculous this is. But I also want to make sure that I'm appreciative of people who have helped me and people who do support my work, and it's just like a balance, right? The right wants to complain about Taylor Swift and brag about how culturally ignorant they are. Leftists want to mock anything that isn't overtly progressive. There are like 4 anarchists who are doing good work. What the fuck's the point? That's kind of like where I'm at. It's like, what the fuck's the point, man? Why am I blacklisted from Timcast? Well, it started when I questioned, this was back in 2020. I questioned the wisdom of Tim Pool platforming Vosh because Vosh is an asshole. and Vosh weaponizes his audience. And all I said was I didn't think he should have had him on that show, man. Like, and I don't really remember what happened, but it had something to do with me because Vosh was harassing me at the time. And I was like, I didn't think he should have had him on the show. And Tim called me an SJW on Twitter and told me I was engaging in cancel culture because I expressed an opinion that was different than his. And it's basically been shit ever since. And at some point, I just stopped trying. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm never gonna please this guy, and so fuck it. And so then I talked about what happened between Tim and Adam before Adam did, because there was a moment, and I don't even remember. I don't remember what triggered it at all. But I was just so pissed off. No, you know what it was? It was the Don Bulldog story. It was the Don Bulldog story. That's what that I was like, fucking Tim, you're fucking dead to me, bro. And this was 2 years after Tim had called me an SJW on Twitter. And I was just like, so the Don Bulldog story is that Don Bulldog was running around conservative media telling people that he had been attacked outside a debate by a libertarian, but the libertarians film everything, and I was actually there, and we had it on like 3 different camera angles that Don Bulldog was the one who actually attacked. Don Bulldog was the one who threw the first punch. It wasn't, but Don Bulldog was on this conservative media smear campaign, just saying that, like, that when it provably didn't happen. And we tried so hard. We tried so fucking hard to get that story in front of Tim. We did everything. And Kino helped with this as well. We did everything possible to say, Tim, can you please fucking cover this? That Don Bulldog is fucking lying. The conservative media is lying. Everyone is lying. We had it on multiple angles from multiple cameras. And Tim's excuse was, well, no one sent me the full footage, but that wasn't true because I had sent Tim the full footage. I had sent Tim the full footage from like 15 different ways from Sunday. I pulled in favors to send that footage. I got Michael Malice to send him that footage. And finally I did a stream where I put his name in it because I knew if I put his name in it, people would come in and watch it. Had like hundreds of people watching. It's like 2 a.m. Had hundreds of people watching where all I did was play the fucking footage from start to finish. Exactly the footage that Tim wanted. Exactly the footage that he told no one, that he said no one had sent him. And he fucking ignored it. And I was pissed. I was pissed. I was like, you have lost all your integrity, bro. And so the following week, because I was pissed, I think it was the following week, it wasn't long after that, I had known what happened with Tim and Adam. I knew that Tim slept with Lydia. I knew all of this stuff years ago. I knew it in 2020. How did I know it? Because Adam fucking told me. Adam told me and another guy, and that other guy spread it around, and I got fucking blamed for it, which I was not happy about. But I was just like, 2 years after, like, having never talked about this information publicly before, when I knew what happened, I was like, you know what? I'm getting blamed for this anyway. I'm sick of getting blamed for something I didn't do. Lydia can go fuck herself. Let me tell you what actually happened between them. I did a whole stream about it. I'm sure Tim wasn't happy about that because the following week, and it was also basically elicited because Adam was getting really close to talking about it. And so then the following week, Adam finally spilled the beans, but I spilled them first because I heard about what happened from Adam back when it happened. And I don't have any regrets because you know what? I'm not interested. Like, and here's the thing too. I don't even want to go on Timcast. I don't want to do shows like this. If I went on Timcast, that would result in me getting called fat and ugly for 2 hours and having no one listening to what I'm saying, because God knows Tim isn't going to actually ask me about what any of this. Like, those shows aren't like interviews. No one's like, I'm not going to be able to teach people anything. It's going to be basically me sitting there getting insulted by the chat. So I don't even want to go on anyway. So I don't regret fucking anything. Tim doesn't know what he's talking about at all. And he doesn't want to know what he's talking about either. Rottweiler says, thank you for the super chat. Normies and right wingers are setting their sights on tangentially connected issues that might matter a little, but they're being led by self-righteous and deceptive people away from their core issue. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Sarah with an H said, "Tim didn't like you, we're friends with Adam." Oh, yeah, Tim fucking hated this. Tim fucking hated that Adam got me on, like, that was a whole other thing. I remember all that drama, I was annoyed by Tim for his media Tim's music sucks. Can we all just, like, we might disagree on some things, but can we just all rally around the fact that Tim Pool's music sucks? It's not good. I don't mean that to be a bitch, but, like, sometimes people need constructive feedback, and I listen to emo music. I fucking love emo music. I love alt rock and, like, all that stuff. Like, I that like, I know good music in that scene, and that's not good. Yeah, see, this is why, like, I mean, it's not as though I haven't had opportunities, by the way. Like, really, like, I mean, Cassandra asked, and I was like, "Nah." 'Cause I don't want to. Like, Timcast IRL isn't even an interview anymore, it's just a bunch of people sitting around a big table talking about the exact same things where the guest is more or less ignored for 2 hours. That's exactly right. Like, what am I gonna get out of that? I'm it's literally, if I did and this is I kinda feel the same about most shows, like, I don't wanna do this stuff anymore, I did it in 2020. Do you guys know how much it fucking burns me that Dave Rubin turned out to be a shill? Like, all the times I was on it, like, I fucking cannot tell you guys how much this burns me. This is probably why I've been so hard on Dave Rubin, because I'm like, "Yo, I really fucking believed in you, bro. I did. I did. You were very helpful to me in 2020." But I feel like with most of these things, it literally just results in people not listening to me, not listening to what I'm saying, not really caring, and then I end up getting called fat and ugly on the internet, and, like, people are more interested in calling me fat and ugly than they are, like, actually listening to the content of what I'm saying, and I'm like, and that's where I'm like, again, like, "What the fuck am I even doing? What the fuck am I even doing, man?" And that's where I start to blackpill, because it's not, it's that people don't care. It's that people don't care. Not enough people. Conservatives really think they're winning. Conservatives have really, really convinced themselves that they're winning. Michael Malice was the only person that I reached out to after the socialism conference, literally the only one that I reached out to, and I said to him, "I think we'd have a really good conversation about this," and I never heard anything back. Because I really did. I think that Michael Malice and I would have had a very good conversation about that, but he doesn't want to, so I can't make him. So I stopped reaching out to people, guys. It's like, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, and the reality is that I'm so far ahead of people on this because I've deep dived into it so much that it's like, anyone that I can, like, anyone whose show I could go on is probably not going to understand what I'm talking about. The struggle is real, man. They aren't going to understand because they're so far behind what's actually going on, because none of them actually listen to the left. They only listen to each other. And I don't wanna do that stuff. I don't want to do that stuff. I don't wanna go on other people's shows. I don't like going on other people's shows. This is never going to happen. This is never going to happen, guys. It is never going to happen. He wouldn't understand it. If you don't shill the conservative talking points on this, which I refuse to do because most of them are wrong, then no one's gonna talk to you and no one's gonna bring you on. It's just the way it goes. And even when they do, most of them are not going to understand what's being talked about. And I could live with that. I could because again, like I don't actually want to do this stuff. I don't like yeah, I understand this is ironic because I do way more I'm streaming on YouTube right now. I do way like I am on video almost every single day of my life. So I understand what I'm about to say is going to like not make sense to people. I don't like being on video. I don't like having my picture taken. It makes me very, very uncomfortable. I've learned how to get used to it, but I don't like it. And so if I don't have to put myself in a position where I'm on video or having my picture taken, I am perfectly happy with like not putting myself in that position. I just what I want to do is I want to talk to people that are interested in this. I want like I don't know how to make more people find my content without doing this though, and I really don't want to. And then the conversation becomes, well, if this was actually important to you, if it's like maybe you wouldn't talk down to people and maybe you wouldn't have such a tone. Oh my god, if I just became a completely different person and just shilled the right talking points and talked about how great Moms for Liberty is, maybe I could have a bigger audience. I mean, I probably could. But I think the big thing is it's like, why don't more people care? Why don't more people care? I have 14,000 people subscribed to my Substack. The article I posted today saying I need 200 subscribers and 200 new paid subscribers by the end of the year at $8 a month, fucking less than a cup of I pay $10 for my cup of coffee at Starbucks. That's legit. I mean, not in every city, prices are different in different cities, but like when I go to Starbucks, I get a venti quad soy sugar-free vanilla latte. Yes, I get a soy latte cuz I like it, okay? And it runs me about $10. I charge $8 a month for my content. My content is literally less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. I have 14,000 subscribers to my Substack. I get thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of views a day on that Substack. And when I say I need to have 200 more paid subscribers by the end of the year, thousands of people read it. Less than 10 have actually signed up with paid subscriptions. I have thousands and thousands and thousands of people a day reading my work for free, following my work for free, stealing my work. Influencers steal my work all the fucking time. All the fucking time. All the fucking time. Bro, I don't know why you're sitting here if you're not listening. I just don't know why are you here because I'm actually literally explaining this and like people like you make me hate every second of being on the fucking internet because you don't fucking listen. And I can't get people to fund it. Okay. So now you're going to get blocked because you don't belong here. Goodbye. I'm so sick of people. Like, I've literally been talking for almost an hour explaining how this is not actually about money. This is about a reality in which I don't think people actually care. And then I bet you money that guy's a conservative. Oh, so it's about money. So it's about money. So it's about money. It's just about money. You're only doing this for money. You only want money. This is patently untrue. I have thousands of people reading my Substack a day. I have hundreds of thousands of views a month. That's not true. You don't know my stats, bro. If it was about money, I would have quit a long ass time ago and I would be doing corporate training right now and I'd be selling that sweet sweet diversity training. Do you guys have any fucking idea how much money I can make doing corporate training? If it was about money, I would be posting rah rah Trump, rah rah Trump, rah rah Trump. Trump is the best. I would be doing whole lines of Trump related merch. That'd be the only merch I ever sold. Trump is the greatest president of our lifetimes. Make America great again. I would be doing all that shit. I've said for years, if I was really just all about doing whatever I needed to do to make money, raw Trump videos every fucking day of the week. Just take the conservative talking points and make all the videos about all the conservative talking points. And then go onto Twitter and tag all the right people and kiss all the right people's ass and slide into the replies of all the right people. The people that think this is all about money are absolute fucking morons. It's all about money. I never would have become a libertarian because there ain't no libertarian grift. If it was all about money, I wouldn't be getting so far ahead of where conservatives and influencers are in their understanding of what's going on the left. It doesn't benefit me at all to be as far ahead of things as I am. We are minimally 2 years ahead of where the average conservative pundit is in our understanding of this. Minimally. It might even be more. Doesn't benefit me at all. You don't make any money being years ahead of where other people are. You make money when you're at the same place as people. When you have talking points that people want to hear. When they're like because like people don't know what's going on, and so when I say here's all this crazy shit going on, they're like, what the fuck are you even talking about? This isn't real. We're winning. Conservatives are winning the culture war because they're hearing from all their influencers. Conservatives are winning the culture war. We've turned a corner in the culture war. People are waking up from woke. We're winning. We're winning. Tim Pool, we're winning. Give me that super chat money. Like, we're winning. You guys are winning. Like, it's like they're hearing from all of these fucking influencers that they're winning, which means their brain is turned off to anything I'm doing because it's really fucking inconvenient for them. The content that I'm doing is really fucking inconvenient because it shows emphatically that not only are conservatives not winning, but conservatives are getting their fucking asses kicked. They're getting their asses kicked up and down the playing field, and they don't want to know that because it disrupts their utopian vision of like, we're doing it, we're winning the culture war, people are waking up. No, they're not, bro. It just makes it so fucking hard. I didn't intend to get this far ahead of people. I didn't intend for this to happen. It just did, and I wasn't watching other people's content, and I didn't realize when it happened. This is exactly how I feel. It's like when people tell me like, you're ahead of your time, Carlin, you're ahead of your time, you're the tip of the spear. I'm like, why are you so fucking behind? Like, I teach this stuff every day. Come to my streams. I'll catch you up, man. I will catch you up real quick. And they don't want to because they don't understand why it's important. Because they all think that they're winning. They all think that they're winning. Cheers. I just wish it was a little bit easier. I wish I could give all this up. I wish that other people would do more. I wish that people took it more seriously. You know, one of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately is I've been nailing down the timeline in relation to the 4 goals of the woke left. And this was again a complete accident that it just aligned this way. But the 4 goals of the woke left are always and forever the same, right? Gain as much power as possible, destabilize the system, attack capitalism, usher in their Marxist utopia. Everything they do is for one of those goals. But those goals are also kind of sequential too. They can do tactics that meet all 4 of those goals. But those goals are sequential, right? You have to gain power before you destabilize the system because you can't destabilize the system unless you've gained power in some way, because if you didn't have the power, you wouldn't be able to destabilize the system. You have to destabilize the system before you attack capitalism, because if you don't destabilize the system, then you don't have any problems to blame capitalism for. You can't just attack capitalism out of nowhere. There has to be a reason, right? They have to cause the problem by destabilizing the system, and then they could say, you know what the cause of this is capitalism. Capitalism is to blame for all these problems. And of course, ushering in their Marxist utopia has to come last because they can't usher in their Marxist utopia until they overcome capitalism. So not only are the 4 goals just like they can meet one end or all 4 of those goals at the same time, but there is a sequence to these. And just like there's a sequence to them, the left is more focused sometimes on some goals rather than others. So, from the 1950s, when the Frankfurt School landed at Columbia University and started the Long March through the institutions in the 1950s, up until Barack Obama was elected president, that is a 60-year time period, 60, 50s to 2008, roughly. From the 1950s up until 2008 ish, the left was mostly focused on gaining power, that goal number 1, by getting themselves into positions of institutional power within the universities and then within the K through 12 schools and then within media and journalism and all that stuff. They were getting into it was the long march through the institution, because the long march through the institution is literally about getting yourself into positions of institutional power where you have the ability to make decisions. They were doing that between 1950s and 2008 when Barack Obama was elected president. Their main goal was to gain as much power as possible. Once Barack Obama was elected president, they switched gears because they had gained their institutional power. The long march through the institutions was successful. And then once they got Barack Obama elected president, they switched gears from focusing primarily on gaining as much power as possible to destabilizing the system, because this is when we started to see problems showing up. This is why Ben Shapiro thinks all this woke shit just started in 2008. It didn't just start in 2008. It started in the 50s. But they started focusing on destabilizing the system in 2008, 2009, 2010, somewhere around. I'm going to put it as 2008, the election of Barack Obama, just because that's like a nice even number. And I think that that's actually correct. So what I think is that they are currently in the phase where they are focusing primarily on destabilizing the system by causing problems. So when do they go into the next phase of focusing primarily on attacking capitalism? When does that happen? I think that happens in 5 to 10 years. And the reason that I say that that new phase starts, where they're going to go from destabilizing the system to having it completely destabilized and focusing all their attention on just fucking hammering, 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 hammering capitalism. It's not that they aren't already attacking capitalism. They are. They do it all the time. But I'm talking about like right now, they're really just mainly focused on causing problems. They're still like working. They always and perpetually will be trying to gain as much power as they can. That didn't stop, but it's just like the focal point of their energy. I think that comes in 5 to 10 years. Why do I say that? Because that is when the kids who have been experiencing woke indoctrination in every stage of their life since kindergarten, 5 to 10 years is when they graduate from college and move into the working world. And that's when I think the pain really begins. Now, here's my bigger point. From the 1950s until 2008, that was 60 years. 60 years. 6-0. From 2008 till, let's just say, 2030, roundabout, from 2008 to 2030, it's 22 years. So now the cycle, the amount of time it's taking to do things because they did the work of gaining institutional power for 60 years. The amount of time in the second stage is 1/3 the amount of time as the first stage was. So what that means is it's going to take less time to get through the subsequent stages, is what I think. Because the first step is always the hardest in anything you do. The first step is going to take the longest. The first step is where you're troubleshooting, you're figuring it out. Once you've got that first step down, the second step is easier. So we went from a cycle of 60 years to now a cycle of, let's just call it 25 years, just to be generous, okay? You're essentially cutting your cycle in half. It's taking you half the time to go from step 2 to step 3 than it did from step 1 to step 2. So we move into the phase where they're hammering and attacking capitalism. If it takes, like, again, like roughly, if it takes half of the time to move from stage 2 to stage 3 as it did to move from stage 1 to stage 2, then doesn't it stand to reason that it might take half of the time to move from stage 3 to stage 4 as it did from stage 2 to stage 3? So now we're talking about 10 to 15 years, which means if I'm right about my timeline, and I certainly pray to God that I'm not right, because I don't think there's any stopping it right now with the way people are behaving, that puts us at the Marxist revolution in like 2045. Is everyone comfortable with that? I'm not comfortable with that. I'm still going to be alive in 2045. I don't want to live through that shit. Do you want to live through that shit? People think it's not going to affect them, and they're wrong. It's going to affect everyone. Everyone. You know, people all the time, they're like, Carlin, thank you for all you do. And it's even more impressive that you do it because you don't have kids. Listen, man, like, I appreciate that you're thanking me for looking out about what's going on in your kid's school better than you are. But I'm fucking selfish. I'm selfish as shit. I don't want to live through this. I don't want to live through this. Do you want to live through this? Then what the fuck are we doing? And why am I the only one talking about this? Rottweiler says you could try reaching Atheists for Liberty. I actually like Tom. I know Tom. He's a good guy. Good and fair interviews, no drama, very receptive audience without the religious bias of evangelicons, which is also a factor in how they that's actually not a bad idea, Rottweiler. Maybe I will reach out to him. I haven't talked to him in a while. And I have a good relationship with him. He's a good guy. And so when I lay all this out to people, what happens is I start getting all these objections. Carlin, you don't have this right. Carlin, this is this audience. It's not this. Carlin, this is you're making all this up. Where are you even getting it? Why are you even an authority in things? No, you're wrong about this. It's really this group that's going to take over. It's not going to happen in the United States. It's going to happen over here. And I'm like, and every single person who does this, they know less than I do about this. And I'm like, bro, I don't even take this shit anymore from people. I don't even coddle this anymore. I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then they go, well, what makes you the authority? And I say, I've watched more of their trainings and their real world exercises, and I've gone undercover at their events. I've done more in this realm than anyone else in the world. You want to fuck with me? And then they're like, clutching their pearls, you don't know anything. Nancy says, I'm a lesbian, so I think the Marxists will leave me alone. Well, Nancy, the Marxists want to abolish all gender, so you're not really going to be a lesbian anymore because lesbians won't exist. The Marxists also want to take away your ability to own a home, to own a private business, to have parental rights over your kids. So I promise you, Nancy, the Marxists are not going to leave you alone. It's going to impact everyone. The fact that I have to convince people that this is going to impact them shows how little their conservative influencers have taught them. Well, this is the question. Any chance you could have someone else focus on selling your merch? No, because I can't afford to. How is that going to get paid for? Exactly. How is it going to get paid for? Because I have a talent and I have knowledge and I have a skill set that people refuse to fund because they would much rather buy a fucking t-shirt. I would love to be able to hire people to do the merch store, man. I come up with the designs. You guys handle all the fucking rest of it. You guys do the marketing. I don't have to fucking worry about it. I would love to do that. The problem is, do you know where all this shit gets funded? Like, like I've been putting all my attention into the Substack because that's actually the important thing. I've been putting all my attention into that and doing the trainings on here and making clip after clip after clip after clip after clip after clip. And I'm doing it when not enough people are stepping up and fucking funding it because everyone's just consuming my content for free. Or influencers are stealing it and claiming it as their own so that they can make money on fucking Twitter. So where do you expect me to fund that? Because if I took all my time away, and again, this is the discussion in my head. If I took all my time away from doing all this stuff, from not spend like cut down on the fucking streaming, cut down on the amount of trainings, cut down on the amount of clip videos, people don't use them anyway, they don't appreciate them or they just get stolen. Cut down on the amount of time that you're spending writing articles for the Substack and just take all that and make merch, which I like making merch. I think making merch is fun. It's creative. Like, I get to make subversive shit. I have so much more fun making the merch. So why don't I just take all my time and put it into that because I can't get people to fund my fucking work? To make it worthwhile for the time commitment that I'm putting into it. And I feel like I've tried so hard, man. And it burns me. It burns me to no end. It burns me to no fucking end. I don't care if people don't want to be public about the fact that they're supporting my work. That's totally fine. But God fucking damn it. if you're gonna steal my shit, then can you at least throw me an annual subscription? Mountain Goddess, how many times have you predicted from your research that have come to fruition? A lot. A lot. I started covering anti-racist math in 2021. You can go back and look at this. I read an entire anti-racist math teacher training manual on my channel in 2021. I started covering that this shit was happening in schools. I covered when the Philadelphia school district introduced anti-racist math. I covered when the Cambridge, Massachusetts school district instituted anti-racist math. I've done this all over the place. There's just an article in the New York Post today. The city of Pittsburgh paid $50,000, $50,000 to a socialist fucking consulting organization that is introducing anti-racist math all throughout the city of Pittsburgh. This shit happens to me all the time. Where I cover something literally years ago, I'm the only person talking about it. It's from original research and investigative journalism. No one else knows what's going on. And then, like a year or two later, all of a sudden, the major media outlets are covering it because they're years behind me. When I'm like, I've been screaming about this and warning people about this for literally years. And I'm like, oh, thank you for showing up to the party. There have been so many predictions I've made about like moves that the conservatives have made that have just turned out to be like batshit insane. Like over, I am, I am very rarely wrong with predictions that I've made. Every once in a while, I'm not infallible. I don't get 100% of things right, but I am very rarely wrong. And almost everything that I've said was going to happen proves out eventually. And people who've been watching my channel for a while, like, don't take my word for it. Ask people in the chat. And when I'm ahead of things too, and this is the other thing about this, when I'm ahead of things, goddamn, I get raked over the fucking coals. People call me crazy. Like half of Twitter thinks I'm insane because I correctly predicted something and was called resoundingly crazy for predicting it. And then 1 year, 2 years later, I turned out to be completely 100% correct in what I said. But no, it's too late at that point. Trust me, you never, after they rake you over the coals and smear you and lie about you, you never get the apology for them convincing people that you're crazy. Amelia, dude, I've tried to just mention to moderate liberals that communists are even real. They laugh and tell me I'm right wing, tough speaking people. Yeah, I know. I know. I would have thought that I was hallucinating 10 years ago. Like if you were talking to me from 10 years ago and I was like, "You know what you're going to be doing in 10 years? You're going to be watching socialism on the internet every fucking day to warn people about the evils of socialism." Like me from 10 years ago would be like, "Bitch, you're fucking crazy." By the way, shout out to Brooklyn for literally sending me a case of vanilla Coke Zero from North Carolina because I love vanilla Coke Zero and I can't buy it here anymore because they don't sell it here anymore for some reason, but apparently they sell it in North Carolina. So I'm enjoying myself a very rare, and I usually don't drink soda, but I fucking love vanilla Coke Zero. I won't drink regular vanilla Coke. They sell regular vanilla Coke, but I'm like, man, I will grow like 3 more asses if I just have 1 can of regular soda. So I have to have Coke Zero because, like, you know, I already get called fat and ugly enough on the internet. I don't want to get called like more fat and more ugly. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Yeah, like me from 10 years ago would have thought that there is like no universe in which I predicted that I was going to be covering like socialist dystopia on the internet for a living. No universe at all. Tayton, I'm late. What the hell is this stream? Carlin, don't burn out on us. I'm doing my every 6-month complaining on the internet stream. Relax. I know you do, Kino. I know. Well, a lot of people have asked for the clips. Here's the thing. A lot of people have asked for the clips, and I have a boat ton of clips. I have a lot of clips that you guys haven't even seen yet because I've been really working on making a whole bunch of clips lately, and it just takes time to do all this shit. And people have been asking for the clips, and I feel like I've been putting them up really regularly. And then I'm like, all right, I'm giving you the clips that you want. Do you guys know how much fucking time it takes me to make these clips, man? Do you know how much it takes? Can you please fund it? Can you fund my time? Can you pay for an hour of my time with an $8 a month subscription? I have a fucking PhD, but if you just like, if you pay for an hour of my time with an $8 a month subscription, I will make you as many fucking clips as you fucking want. $8 an hour, my PhD. That makes me feel really fucking good. I'll tell you what. But I could sell people t-shirts every day of the week. They love that shit. Oh, you don't make any money on books. Let me tell you what. There ain't no money in books. Ain't no money in books. I've written 2 of them. Ain't no money in books. I make more money on my Substack than I do writing books. It is about the message and the information. Well, you know what? Like, you know what? I can't take a vacation on the message and the information. I said this to someone the other day. They're like, Carlin, you've made so much progress. And it was someone who I owe money to. And I was like, they're like, Carlin, you made so much progress. And I was like, oh yeah, well, you know what? I'm gonna deposit that progress in your bank account. Do you accept progress as payment for the money that I owe you? Because I'm gonna pay you in progress. And it's like the thing about the money is it's and again, I know people, they like, oh, you just need to be grifter, like whatever the fuck, but like, which is stupid. But it's like, again, this is about, do people value what I'm doing? It's not about the money per se. It's about, do people value what I'm doing? Because I believe that money is a value exchange. I believe that if I give you something valuable, then you will be more inclined to give me something valuable in return, right? It's not, and so it's like, if I'm doing all this content, if I'm doing all this content, I'm spending all this time doing all this content, and I'm giving you all this content, and I'm breaking it down, and I'm doing things no one else is doing it because my content isn't fucking cookie cutter. Like Joshua once said to me, he's like, Carlin, why don't you just use Chat GPT to write your content? I was like, fuck right off. I'm not using AI to write my content. I'm not using woke AI to write my content. That's not going to happen. He was trying to be helpful. But if I'm giving people all this value and I can't get 200 people to get paid subscriptions on the Substack to literally fund this by the end of the year, god damn, then what the fuck am I doing? Because it's like, if I'm doing all this work and no one values it, and I'm just beating my head against the wall and having to like just talk to stupid idiots on Twitter all day that don't understand what I'm doing, and no one will talk about my content because I'm years ahead of where they are. It's like, what the fuck am I doing, man? I could sell t-shirts, I can sell hoodies, I can make the best merch store on the fucking internet. Like, that's what's going through my head. It's like, god damn, people really value a t-shirt more than they value understanding why we're all about to descend into Marxist utopia? Fucking fine. Let me enjoy capitalism while I can. This is the conversation I've been having with myself. This is the conversation I've been having with myself for the past couple weeks. It's just really, really upsetting. It's really upsetting. Let me see, I'm just scrolling through the chat, guys. Rakita's hedonism. Wow, that's quite a name. Moderate and card-carrying conservatives live in the here and now. They never think 5 years from now, let alone 20. Keep your head high, Carlin. Enjoy your show. I do appreciate that. Thank you. I'm trying, man, but it's like I really am trying. LG19, I think it makes sense for you to join Nick Fuentes as co-host. It's divine timing. Your platform will be huge. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, tell Nick. Go fucking tell Nick. Like, I appreciate the super chat, I do, but like, Nick doesn't talk to me. I don't even know why Nick was interested in like, I don't even know. I don't know anything about what Nick's thing is with me. It's not as though I haven't offered. I did. Like against all my better judgment, because I don't like go to people and say, "Do you want to talk? Do you want to have a show?" Like whatever. But I was getting pestered so fucking much by people that I finally sent him a message like, well, like Friday or Saturday, and I was like, "Listen, bro," and I was like, I was nicer than what I'm about to say, but like I was like, "Listen, bro, you want to talk? You let me know. Like I'm up for it. If you don't want like that's fine too." Like he knows he can get in touch with me if he wants to. He knows the offer is there. He doesn't want to. I don't know why he doesn't want to. I don't know what his thing was with me. I have no idea. So if you want him to talk to me, go tell him. I would be open to it. I think. Probably. Though he doesn't understand this either. He doesn't understand this either. And it's just like, that's another problem, though. I don't want to dwell too much on that. Please send link. Thanks. Link for what? Did I miss something? Link for what? I did see that, Wade. Thank you very much. I saw that tweet. I think I retweeted it. I do appreciate it. I really do appreciate when people share my stuff, guys, or like that's pretty great, and I do appreciate it. I think Kim Iverson is doing really great work on the Palestine stuff, the Israel-Palestine stuff, but I mean, I think that's what she's focused on right now. I don't think PBD would have me on. I don't think that that's true. I'm not big enough for them. I'm not relevant. And God knows I'm not hot. Like, well, Anik Experience not hot, but like I'm definitely not not that. Like, you know? I do have a Discord. I have a supporter only Discord that supporters get access to. This is correct, Tate, and this is exactly what I'm saying. When I have thousands and thousands and thousands of people a day, hundreds of thousands of people a month who read my Substack and they're not subscribing, then that's when I'm like, do you really value the work I'm doing? You're consuming it for free. Some of you don't mind stealing it and calling it your own, which I'm actually fine with if the message gets out. But it's like, if you're going to steal my work, can you at least like throw me a subscription or something, bro? Like, I'm not asking the sun, the moon, and the fucking stars. I don't want to do this though. Who can I collaborate with that would understand my work? Like, really? Who? James Lindsay isn't going to do it because he would piss off Moms for Liberty, because Moms for Liberty fucking hates me. I'm like the number one enemy of Moms for Liberty because I've railed so hard against the book banning stuff. Moms for Liberty has me like blacklisted from like everything. They really do though, for real, for serious. And James Lindsay's in bed with Moms for Liberty, and you know, But he's literally the only person. So he's not like I'm not gonna. That's not gonna work out. But he's like the only person that I can think of that would possibly be able to understand what I'm talking about. Jonathan said, I discovered when you covered the whole Crowder divorce debacle and I stuck around because I wanted to see what else you did. You showed me the left and I listened. I appreciate that, Jonathan. I appreciate that. Under Flower Pot, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. It's an odd number, which I appreciate. I'm sure that there's others out there like me who find you thanks to the reaction drama and then stick around to discover the gold mine that is your content. I know, I know, and this is why I do nitwits sometimes. I probably should need to do nitwits more to get more I need to watch some more Tim Pool. That's what needs to happen apparently. Do you know what a bitter pill that is to swallow? Like, in order to get people to care about shit, I have to sit here and react to Tim Pool. Thank you guys who are sharing my merch link. I appreciate it. Oh, welcome, Wade. Sometimes I do late night streams where I complain. Sometimes I do more productive things than complain, though. Welcome. Mountain Goddess V Radio would be a good channel for you to put your message out on. I don't know what that is, but I can look into it. God, I don't want to fucking. Oh God. Because here's the thing too. It's like with these collabs, that's not necessarily going to lead to more paid subscribers on the Substack. Like I should not fucking need to shill myself out to these shows with people who don't understand as much as I do about this in order to get people interested, because it usually doesn't actually translate to anything real. This was the mistake I made in 2020 that grew this channel to over 100,000 subscribers in less than a year. Is I was like on all these shows and I did all this stuff that got people to subscribe to my channel, but they didn't subscribe for me. They subscribed because I was some symbol of something. And then they never followed along with the real stuff after that. So it's like I'm in a constant state of like trying to transition my audience into like people who actually care about this stuff because of all the mistakes I made going on all these shows that were not good fits, that did not have the right audience in 2020, like a mistake that I have been paying for ever since. And I think that it's finally, and I mean, this took me over 2 years. It's finally gotten to a point where I think my audience is like, I appreciate the composition and the makeup of my audience now in a way that I didn't 2 years ago. But anyway, I don't know anything about V Radio, but I can, I guess, look into it, but I don't know, man. Maybe try to get on a podcast with Pearl. I would sooner shoot myself in the foot than go on a podcast with Pearl. Yo. You really think that would go well? With Nick, I would have a conversation with Nick. I don't even know, like, I know who Sneeko is, but I don't know anything about him, and I strongly suspect he's not smart enough to understand what I'm doing. Joe Rogan's never gonna have me on his show. Come on. That's never happening. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like, I don't care enough to shill myself out there. And again, it's like, if I go on something like Joe Rogan, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna be called fat and ugly for 3 fucking hours by people on the internet. And that's all I'm going to hear about. And no one's actually going to listen to what I'm saying. So, but I'm absolutely not going to go on anything with Pearl. That is like just a really horrible idea. I mean, I appreciate the super chat. I do. And I appreciate that you're trying to come up with good ideas. I appreciate that you're brainstorming, trying to be productive. I really get it. But God, can you imagine? Like, did you see me almost, like, shoot myself when I was talking with, like, Beardson or Brittany? Exactly. When I try to reach out to an larger audience, they call me crazy because they don't understand what I'm talking about. And I feel like I really tried to, like, get it as simple as I can. But again, I have 14,000 fucking subscribers to my Substack. Hundreds of thousands of views a month. These are people that should understand what I'm talking about because they're opening my content, they're reading my content on a consistent basis, and it's just like, why can't I just play in the playground that I'm in? Collaboration with any conservative would be golden, but no, it wouldn't. Mel K was good. I like her. She's a nice lady. I would go on her show again. Most conservatives think I'm insane and don't know what I'm talking about. And they're convinced that they're winning, and then you try to tell them that they're not winning and they don't want to hear it. And it's like I talked about this. It's not as though, do you guys know, like, some of you know this, some of you don't. Do you guys know that, like, almost every conservative influencer is either following my work on Twitter or they're subscribed to my Substack? There are a lot of them subscribed to my Substack. For reals. I have their email addresses and everything. So they're either following me on Twitter or they're subscribed to my Substack. It's not as though they don't know. They do know. Let me see. I'm just going through the chat. I can't message, hang on. I can't message Scott Adams because Scott Adams blocked me on Twitter. I truly have no idea why. Like, here's what happened. Scott Adams and I, this is like several months ago. I mean, maybe close to the beginning of the year. I never really interacted with Scott Adams on Twitter. Like, he followed me. And every once in a while, I mean, like, we're talking like maybe once every 3 months or so, I would respond to a tweet, and I was never antagonistic of him because I actually do have an appreciation for Scott Adams. I think what Scott Adams did in terms of skewering his entire career because he's got fuck you money and he could, I thought that was badass and epic. I thought it was fucking great. I thought, like, good for him, man. Good for him. He doesn't need any fucking masters. Good for him. So, right before that happened, I had a DM conversation with Scott about something else. Scott had said something nice about me. Scott had said on a stream that, like, he thought I was smart, and I was like, "That's actually, like, coming from Scott Adams, that was, like, a really good compliment." And so I DM'd him, I was like, "Hey, thank you, I heard you said this thing about me, thank you for that." I mean, he didn't actually agree with the point I was making, but he still said I was smart, and so, that's always nice, right, with someone like that saying nice things about you. So I DM'd him a thank you, and we had a little back and forth, and I thought everything was fine. And then it was like less than a month later when I hadn't even interacted with him at all, I found out that he blocked me on Twitter. I was like, "What the fuck did I do?" I truly have no fucking idea why he blocked me on Twitter. But suffice it to say is I can't message him because he blocked me on Twitter. Like, I can't. Where did my stream go? Oh, I'm back. I'm back. It blinked for a moment. Am I back online? Can you guys see me? Can you hear me? I look frozen on my YouTube studio. Oh, I'm back. Okay. Anyway. I found an old video of Carlin when doing a thing on narcissism. I thought it was really cool, like before and after and the same. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just talking at this point. I've just been talking the whole time. I just wish things were easier, and I wish more people cared. It is really like, do you know what I feel like? Do you guys know the movie Knowing? This is a movie with Nicolas Cage that came out a long ass time ago. And basically I think it's a good movie. Some people think it's an awful movie. I think it's a good movie. It's honestly one of my favorite movies. Hang on. Hang on. Dragon Water. Thank you, Dragon Water. You are never gone. I wish you well and see you on the Zoom tomorrow. Thank you. Appreciate it. So there's this movie Knowing that probably is one of my more like a movie that I really like. And it's with Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage has a son, and the son starts seeing these black creatures or whatever. And basically Nicolas Cage, because like these creatures are showing up, Nicolas Cage ends up finding like a time, like the son brought home a time capsule from school, and the time capsule had this piece of paper in it that was like a secret code that it predicted all these major events that had like high death counts and tragedies. And it was in a time capsule from like 50 years before that was buried at his son's school, and his son brought it home, and Nicolas Cage starts deciphering the code off of this piece of paper and starts to figure out, oh shit, this piece of paper is predicting deaths of people that no one can, that like it couldn't, like when this was put in the ground they couldn't have possibly known that, so what the fuck is this? And then, and I'm just gonna give away the spoiler. If you don't want to hear it, don't but this is an older movie and it's still a good movie. And so the code on the paper was a sequence, right? It like everything was happening sequentially. And then at the end of the paper, it said EE, and he's like, "What the hell does EE stand for?" Well, EE stood for everyone else, as in the end of the world. Okay? And the world did end in the movie. Basically what happened is a solar flare came from the sun and engulfed the planet and killed everyone on the planet. I know, it's a delightful, warm-hearted, optimistic movie. But my point here is this. Is I feel like the reality that I'm in, I feel like I'm Nicolas Cage in that movie, because I can see the end of the fucking world. I can see the Marxist takeover. I can see the Marxist revolution. I have a fucking date when I think this shit is going to happen, and I think it's going to be around 2045, 2050. I can see this coming. I can lay it all out. I can show people the evidence. I can walk people through it. I do this every single, like the reason I've got so obsessed with this is I can see the end of the fucking world. I can see it in a way that I don't think many other people are seeing it. And it's very real to me because I live in this space and I know these people. And I know what they're doing. I've got the whole fucking thing reverse engineered. I know exactly what they're doing. I know how they're doing it. I know how to predict what they're doing. and there's nothing that I can do to stop it. There's nothing that I can do because no matter what I do, I can't get people to care. And they care about all this stupid shit. And I'm like, "The end of the world is coming." And they're like, "Bitch, you're crazy." I'm like, "Oh, well, you can think that now, but no, no, no. Like, I can see it. The end of the world is coming. Yeah, it's coming. We're going right into it. We're going at it like it's like a fucking speeding bullet, and we're about to hit the fucking wall at any second. And I know you can't see it because you're not paying attention to the things I'm paying attention to, but I found the right fucking things to pay attention to. I found the levers that are making this happen. I found it completely by accident. It wasn't my intention to do this, but this is where I ended up, and I can see the end of the world, motherfuckers. And I'm beating the drum, and I'm trying to warn you, and I'm trying to show you, and I'm trying to illustrate to you what's going on, and none of you are fucking listening because you're distracted with drag shows. And so it's just me seeing the end of the world and knowing what's coming, and I'm like, "Ain't shit I can do about it." And no one cares. No one cares. Jenny's getting inky with it. Thank you for the super chat. Part of the problem is influencers disagree with you, then tell their friends who are too lazy to see what's actually going on and just write you off. Yup. Let me add on to this. Influencers who are not as smart as me and not as informed as me just think I'm a crazy bitch, and then they tell their friends that I'm a crazy bitch, and then all of a sudden no one fucking listens. It's how we get into the mess we're in, too much trusting other people's perception of reality. Oh god, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? You did a visual effects shot from based on that movie? It's a good movie. One of my first, visual effects jobs was doing a plane crash sequence based on that movie. Awesome, Kino. I don't know who this is. I don't know who any of these people are. He won't do it. He won't do it. I tried. He got scared away because Carrie Smith's woke cancel horde started tagging him and shit about me on Twitter. And he thought it was me that was doing it, but it wasn't me that was doing it. It was Carrie Smith's woke cancel horde. And he just peaced out. Like he had said yes to me. He had agreed. And we were gonna schedule it like several months out, and then I followed up and he just wouldn't respond because of all the drama and bullshit around the fucking woke cancel horde. And I tried to tell him, I was like, I have not because and the reason I know that he thought it was me is that he replied to them on Twitter saying, I'm never gonna come on your show now, essentially. And I saw it and I said, hold up. I had nothing to do with this, bro. These people are not me. This is Carrie's audience, and he knows Carrie because Carrie interviewed him. And he just never responded, and I'm sure it was just more trouble than he wanted to put into it to really figure out what was going on, and who would blame him, really? So that's sadly never gonna happen. I don't even know what we would talk about now, to be honest. Like, I was much more interested, like, at the beginning of the year. I was, like, really into it then, and now it's just like I don't even know what we would talk about now. Carl Benjamin does not understand what any of this is. He doesn't understand any of this. He thinks he understands it. He really doesn't understand it. Like, so I don't know what that would do, really. Reagan, thank you. I do appreciate it. Kino, this is why you and I get along. You're definitely a crazy bitch. Yeah, loaded Rottweiler knows, and I trust Rottweiler's judgment. Rottweiler is one of the few people I'm like, Rottweiler knows his shit, man. Lotus eaters don't know what they're talking about either, and 80% of the time they call groomer everyone and everything they don't like. Ain't it the truth? Don't tell me what to do, Heidi. Under the flower pot says, book, stay alive, my son, pin, yade, end of the world already written as an autobiography. Oh, great. Do you guys know one of my favorite movies is? It's a movie called Last Night. This is a great movie. If you have this is like God, I found this movie like circa 2003. This is like an older movie, but it's really fucking good. Last Night is about the last day. I like dystopian shit, right? Like you guys already know, like I like dystopian shit. I like the socialist shit. I've already talked to you about Knowing, which is Knowing is about the end of the world. Um, Last Night is another movie about the end of the world. Last Night is literally it's another movie where the sun is going to eat the earth, right? And everyone on earth knows exactly the time that the sun is going to envelop the earth. Everyone on earth knows they're all going to die, and they know exactly the moment that it's going to happen. And there's a countdown, and this is the last 24 hours of what happens when every single person on earth knows that they're all about to die and there's nothing they can do to stop it. It's a great movie. In some respects, an optimistic movie, if you can believe it, because again, the earth is destroyed. Like, everyone dies at the end. Like, literally everyone dies. But it's the story of what happens on the last the last night on earth. So I recommend that. Do you think it's because peeps are oversaturated trying to save their own butt? Yup. That's what I'm running into. I see people in survival mode and everyone for themselves. That's maybe because of my. No, bro, you're right. This is exactly what it is. Listen, man, in 2020 and even in 2021, for like a good part of it, people helped each other out. It was much more collaborative. At least that was my experience. People helped each other out. They shared each other's content. Like, I was in all these different group chats and all this stuff. And and it was like over like I think it just got like really competitive in the content space, and people started just losing their shit and acting selfishly and stealing from people and not supporting people, and so many people lost their minds. There have been so many people that I know that have goddamn lost their minds between 2020 and today. They're completely different people. And then you find out that they never cared about the things they claimed to care about to begin with, and it was always just about being an influencer. Like I've ever wanted to be an influencer. Like they just want to be an influencer or a content creator. Content, content, content. Yeah, Heidi says there were more people work at home back then. I mean, that was it. Like I got to tell you what, man. It was sweet to be streaming when everyone was working from home during the pandemic. I made so much fucking money. I did well in 2020. I did. It made it a lot easier to do this, you know? It made it and thank God for it because it made it a lot easier for me to do this. It was a blessing. It's so much harder now. Thank you, Raven's Poetry. I appreciate it. I really do. Let me see. I'm gonna wrap up pretty soon, guys. I've bitched enough. Thank you, Mustard Seed. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is an okay movie. It's not I don't like it as much as I like Last Night, though. Last Night is, like, the ultimate movie. There's one guy in Last Night who his whole thing is he has made it a mission to have as much sex as possible and it like do everything possible sexual related, and he's been keeping a tally like on the walls of his apartment of like, I slept with a black girl, I get an Asian girl, I did this to this person, I did this to this person, I had a threesome with this person. Like he's keeping track of like every single minute sexual thing that he's done since he found out that the world was going to end, because he wants to do everything and not just like the vanilla shit, like the really kinky shit too, like everything, because like the world is gonna end, so he's like, fuck it. I was like, oh god, like, but you know, people would do that if they knew the world was ending, you know. I mean, it's kind of respectable in some ways. It's like everything bought, everything. Anyway, see, this is the other thing too. I'm seeing that a lot of people are just checked out. They don't want to see anything negative. They are so close to just ending themselves that anything negative can push them over the edge. There are a lot of people who are checked out. And I understand why, I really do, but like, I can see the end of the world. I wish I could check out. I wish I could make the choice to like not be obsessed with this, but I can see the fucking end of the world. I can fucking see it. Last Night is hang on, I will find it and show you what it is. It is the full title, Last Night. Last Night movie. It's like an indie movie, so it might be harder to find. It's not the 2010 one. Hang on. Sandra Oh. It's the one with Sandra Oh in it. Hang on. I'll show you. This is Last Night. I'll pop the link in the chat. Here, let's watch the preview. Let me set this up for sound. Since we're here. Oh shit, it's not in Chrome. Hang on. Hang on, stand by. I have to put it in Chrome for the sound to work. Hang on one sec. I just need to fix my sound settings on my computer. One sec. Sound. There we go. Okay.
This is the last night, you hear me?
Coming up on the last night on the planet, you're listening to CKRT, top 500 songs of all time, with you until the end.
So you're going to a party?
No.
People coming over?
No, I'm staying here by myself.
By yourself? I just went out to pick up some things and my husband's somewhere. I have to go. 3 more hours! Hurry up!
Sex. Today, I just don't want to risk having bad sex.
I just wanted to have an orgasm today.
I'll do my best. For what we are about to receive, may the Lord make us truly thankful.
And what I do find pathetic is people who don't know themselves or people who don't like themselves, and as soon as they hear that the world is ending, they rush out and try and hook up with someone like it was closing time at Studio 54.
I don't give a damn. People are always saying the children. Pity the children. Tired of the children. They haven't lived, given birth, watched their friends die.
Stand up and take a look. Can you see it?
I'm not going to let this world take my life. I am not just going to pass away.
Anyway, that's Last Night. It's a great movie. Should all watch it. It's much better than the bullshit movies that come out today. It's from the 90s. It was made at a time when movies were still good and before they were woke. They invited me on, actually. They invited me on after the socialism conference, and then I followed up with them and said, like, immediately too. I didn't even wait. I said, yes, I'll come on to talk about the ALA thing, the Marxist Librarian Association thing, and then they never got back to me, so it never happened. So yeah. Thank you, Alan. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Let me see. Thank you, AD. I love you too. You're a good dude. You know, I could never get through Melancholia. I tried, and I love Alexander Skarsgård. Alexander Skarsgård is like, I will watch almost anything with Alexander Skarsgård in it. I could not get through that movie. I really did try. Kino in an Asian voice, not Yoko Ono voice. Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly. Exactly, Kino. Thank you. All right. Well, I've done enough complaining. Thank you guys for listening to me complain for 2 hours. I'm probably not going to quit, but like I really need people to help me with this. Like, listen, man, I understand that not everyone can afford it. I really do. But if you can't afford to support it, then please share it, because if I can just get to a certain level, if I can just get to the level that I originally planned for this year, then everything is going to be easier after that. And I'm really disappointed in the last month when I had such great momentum coming out of the socialism conference. I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be able to fund this. It's going to be fucking great. And then it just stagnated. And I can't have it stagnate and continue to rationalize doing this. I just can't. No matter how many times I look at it, no matter how many times I talk about it. So, like, I really do appreciate everyone who's already a paid supporter of my work, because I need this to be grassroots funded. I cannot sell out. The minute that I sell out is the minute that it all goes to shit. I promise you. I have some experience with working with these people. I promise you, they only use people, and they only use you if you are saying the talking points they want you to say, and I cannot sell out. So I need it to be grassroots funded. And the only way that that happens is if normal people step up. And if it's easier for me to sell normal people $80 worth of merchandise, like for a t-shirt or a hoodie or something, than it is for me to get people to sign up for content that like people universally tell me is like vitally important and I know I'm the only one doing, then I have to go like, what is the point of me even doing this if people don't value it? What is the point of me doing it if people don't value it? So I understand that not everyone is like, I think most people are in a position to support $8 a month because that's all it is. It's $8 a month, guys. $80 a year. I think most people are in a position to support that, especially the people who are consuming my content like almost every single day and not contributing. Because what I don't want, what I really, really don't want is to put more of a burden on the people who are already contributing and already supporting it. I don't want to put more of a burden on them. Like the whole idea of keeping the price point down is to spread it around so that it's not too much of a burden for anyone. I could, I guess, raise my price to $10 a month. I could raise it to 15. Like some people on Substack are charging $20 a month and it's, you know, and they have the same number of paid subscribers I do, but they're charging 2.5 times more. But I specifically wanted to keep the price down because the whole goal was to get a lot of people to do like a little bit. I don't want to burden people who are already supporting my work with saying, "Can you do more?" That really leaves a bad taste in my mouth because some of my supporters are so fucking good to me. Like some of you guys, like I want you to know, and I probably don't thank you enough. Some of my supporters are so fucking good to me. I just need the thousands of people who read my work every day to step up. If you get value out of something, fucking support it. Sarah, it's fine. Because Sarah, I know that you don't have the ability to financially support me, right? And by the way, Sarah, can you send me an email to activelyunwoke@gmail.com and tell me what your email address is because someone in the community earlier bought a subscription for you, specifically for you. And so I can give you the subscription that someone bought for you, but just like send me an email or like DM me on Twitter or something and tell me what your email address is. Because the community took care of you. I know you didn't mean it. And I know that there are people that are in positions where and I have some other gift subscriptions too, by the way, guys. There are like everyday therapist bought like 5 gift subscriptions today that I can give to people who legitimately can't afford it. That's the type of community that I have. And I'm so grateful for it, really. And I just wish that I knew what to do to get other people to step up. Brooks, thank you. And Brooks, thank you for that video that you DM'd me the other day. I'm not going to say what it is, but you know what it is and I know what it is. And I was like, Brooks, I didn't know that about you. You understand that. I have the best community of supporters on the internet. I really do believe that. I'm really, really grateful for all of them. And I hope I'm not letting you down. I just don't know how to get people to see. And I wish I could do more. I wish I had more hours in the day is the thing. I wish I had more hours in the day. I wish I could do more. But it's almost 2 a.m. and I have like 3 things I want to post on Substack tonight. I wish I could do more. There's so many things I want to do. There's so many ideas that I have. I just need to get to a certain place with the Substack to be able to fund it. Kino says, I be making child support payments when I gonna see our love child. I'm requesting StreamYard link earlier to emphasize the importance of your work. Sorry, Kino, I didn't see it until later. It's okay. I appreciate it. Maybe we can stream another time together, Kino, but God. See, Bot, I don't want you to pay more. Bot probably pay, like, this is a true story. Bot probably pays a higher percentage of her income to support my work than any other supporter that I have. I can't ask someone like Bot to do more. I can't. It's completely unfair. Bot pays a higher percentage of her income than anyone else to support my work. And we love Bot. You know? And I'm really glad that after I blocked Bot on Twitter, because Bot was kind of a dick to me on Twitter initially, and I blocked Bot, Bot was fucking industrious, made a new fucking account, came back, is invaluable to my community, invaluable. I will, Phil. I will. Bot has a great merch store. She's got a fucking awesome merch. Bot, put a link to your merch store in the chat. Don't worry about it, Phil. Put a link to your merch store in the chat, Bot. Bot has got a better merch store than I do. Her merchandise is so fucking cool. I'm not lying. I'm not blowing smoke. I want, like, everything that Bot has. It's botfactory.etsy.com. Hang on. Bot stuff is so fucking cool. Let me just show you some of it. I need to do a post on Unwoke Art about both Bot and Sin. Sin has a great merch store too. Sin Shadowland. Sin Scribbles. But look at this shit. Look at this. I'll leave this up actually. Okay, Kino just put a link in the chat. Look at this. Look at this stuff. Bot, I didn't even see this. Look at this. This is like, you made a whole... Bot, you made an astrology collection? Look at this yin yang. Like, this stuff is cool, man. You're getting so good at this, Bot. Oh, it's Pisces. Oh my god, Joshua would love this. Bot said she made this one when she was high. But look at that. That's so cool. Oh my god. Look at this. I love this. I love it so much. So anyway, Bot has the best merch store. Oh my god. Seriously, Bot? Fucking seriously? Fucking seriously? Like... You can't deny, like, the creativity. Like, who... It's so good. It's so good. Bot's merch store is better than my merch store, and I'm jealous. I mean, come on. It's just like the wackiest stuff. I have this mug. This was like one of Bot's first designs ever. And I have it. I have it downstairs. Like, just so good. It's so good. It's so effing good. It's like I want everything. All of the designs are so good. So, guys, make sure you check out Bot's merch store at botfactory.etsy.com. It's for real. It's for real. I do need to make a 4 stages design, don't I? I do. You're right. All right, guys. Well, I've been complaining for a couple hours now. I want to thank you. Oh, well, yeah, this is true, Liza Jean. Seems with conservatives, it's not about knowledge, it's about who you like. Truth. Truth, man. Truth. Truth. That's all that's who's your friend? Who's nice to me? Who says the right things? Who do I like? Yo. That's why they lose. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for allowing me to have a stream about feelings. I appreciate everyone. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to try to make sure that I do the content that's required to give people value, to meet the goals, to get people like I'm going to do my fucking best, man. Like if I can't get to the financial point that I need by the end of the year, I'm going to fucking go out with a blaze of glory. I tried, I shot my shot, but there's 2 months left and I really do hope that I'm able to meet the goal I have. I hope people step up. If you guys want to share my stuff, that'd be pretty great. If you guys want to harangue influencers that you think I should talk to, tell them, man. Tell them. Because if I, just tell them. I don't know that I want to talk to all of them, but, tell them. But I appreciate you guys letting me chat tonight. And I will be back tomorrow or today, I guess. It's almost 2 a.m. I'm going to go do some Substack content. But guys, take care. Have a great one. And we'll see you soon. Bye.